Anime fans, so the first topic is old news. So there was a pistol put out for the new Snow White movie with the main actress and the troll Serrano. Now, I'm not attached. There was no Snow White animated movie. It's not a movie that I'm in love with like a lot of people are. So I don't really have like any excitement towards this movie personally. But when it comes to this pistol, I do think the dwarfs look just have this uncanny valley, and they also look really too CGI-ish. And I know this movie has already been through its controversial stuff, even like before this, when it comes to the fact that the set photos for this movie, they're changing the elements of the storyline, and a lot of fans are pissed off about that. Like in the set photos, they look like they weren't even dwarfs. And then you have the main actress who said some things about her opinion on the original animated movie, which she came off like she was insulting the fans, and I agree, she says some stupid stuff. This is why I think actors just need to just sometimes think before you say something, especially about a beloved animated movie that a lot of people love. When it comes to this Pissa, like I said, I think this just looks, and she looks out of place in the Pissa. So I just think this, like, the CGI just looks rough. I will say this though, it's a Pissa. It's like set photos, in my opinion, where I have to see it in motion. Because maybe the dwarfs, because I know they're trying to go for like a fairy tale look with the dwarfs in the Pissa for this movie. Maybe they'll look better once I see it in a trailer and in motion. It's just with the pizza, they just don't look good. But again, it look better when I see how it looks in the actual movie. I know the movie got delayed until 2025, which I think is a good thing because I think it gives them a year for the controversial stuff to die down and for them to work more on the effects. The next thing I want to talk about is Nicolas Cage saying how this what they showed in the movie with him with the CGI's Nicolas Cage Superman fighting the spider. That wasn't what he shot. Obviously, he was on like he said he was on set for a day. He did shoot a scene, but the reason I want to talk about this topic is because this gets into one of the big issues I have with the last movie. And look, I enjoyed the movie. I don't have. I'll be honest, it hasn't held up on me on my latest rewatches, but I still enjoy it. I still think it's fun, but I wouldn't put it up as one of my favorite comic book movies this year. And one of the big issues in this movie is the effects. When it comes to the look of Speed Force, when it comes to all those cameos at the end, where some of the cameos were dead actors that they had to CGI to bring back, they looked really bad in this movie. The effects look like effects that won't finish, especially with a movie that cost 200 something budget wise. And I know the director came out and defended that decision, saying it was a creative choice, but that's also I don't understand if you're a director and you don't look at that while you're making a movie and say something about it looks off. So I don't. The creative decision to me isn't a good excuse. And like I said, effects just look really bad. They look like PSU video game effects, and they have that uncanny valley with them at the end. But the reason, like I said, I want to talk about this is because I don't understand this choice from a director where you had to act on set for a day. Nicolas Cage actually shot something. I love how he described the scene, saying what he shot was his Superman looking at his world, it being destroyed, and you see the sadness in his face. And that sounds way, in my opinion, way better than with the choice of doing the whole CGI route with Nicolas Cage Superman in the movie. And again, like I don't understand the creative choice in that. If you had the acting, you had the scene, you shot it. Why would you go to CGI route instead? If you had the actor physically there, I don't get that choice with the director. It makes me question more of the decision of doing the whole CGI route because look, CGI is so bad. I mean, I know people say it's not supposed to be realistic. Well, guess what? A talking raccoon and a talking tree isn't supposed to be realistic either. There's no such thing as talking raccoons and talking trees. But they look better. Guardians 3 was a high budget movie too, and the effects in that look way better. Blue Beetle, a much lower budget movie than Flash, the effects look better. Hell, even the Ant-Man movie had new Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumanium, the effects in that looked way better. Like the only time the Ant-Man movie looked bad in my opinion was MODOK, where that character just I don't think works in live action, honestly, the look of the character. But The whole they're not supposed to look realistic, the Speed Force and the ending, that to me isn't an excuse either. Like the effects just look like crap. Like look like effects that won't fit us. And look, I enjoyed the Flash movie, but it was a creative choice. Especially when you hear Nicolas Cage, they actually shot something and he decided to go with the CGI route instead. I question that choice. I don't understand why the director made that decision. And it just sucks as a fan because I would like to have seen the scene in the movie that he actually shot. So the next thing I want to talk about is the cinematography of the new Joker movie. Said the new movie is going to be a very surprising and risky movie. Now I love hearing this. I know some people like don't like the idea of using musical elements in a new Joker movie, but look, the first Joker movie was a waste. I mean, people like really going to do a Joker movie about Batman, and I end up loving that first movie. And that was a very different comic book movie. So I actually this makes me more excited if Facts taking a risk and like gonna have musical elements in it because it sounds like they're actually gonna do something different with the sequel. It's not just gonna be like we're just gonna do the same thing over again like the first movie. As someone who loves when when you have sequels that try to do something different. Now it doesn't always work. I mean, it all comes down to execution. Like the musical elements, you know, I'm I don't have a problem with musical elements as long as it still tells a great story. If I as long as I get a fun, great movie out of it, I don't care. So it all comes down to execution. But I just love the fact of hearing this person here in the cinematographer say that look, this movie's going to be very risky, very surprising. Personally, that makes me more excited for this Joker sequel. It means they're trying to do something different. Whether it works or not, we'll all wait and see when the movie comes out. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is the big thing, and this is a lot to digest. Now, obviously, everybody knows MCU has been having issues lately. It's definitely been on the decline. It's been very missile hit. It's had production problems with way more projects than it did in Infinity Saga. Like the only production problems you heard in Infinity Saga was the director of Wonder Woman, both Wonder Woman movies, was going to direct Thor: The Dark World, and the guy who directed Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Shaun of the Dead, Edgar Wright, he was going to direct the original Ant-Man movie. Now, with that, I don't really count that as a big deal because his original Ant-Man movie it was going to be basically he wanted to do a solo Ant-Man movie that wasn't connected to the MCU to a world, and it was before the MCU even got started. So that to me isn't that big of a deal. That one. So but outside of those two, you never heard many production problems with the movies, behind the scenes stuff when in Infinity Saga. But lately, it's been I mean, someone had to do with Kova when it comes to pushing stuff back, and I can't fault the studio for that. Like nobody knew Kova was coming, and it was going to affect, that this was going to affect the movies and shows so much. But I love WandaVision, but the finale obviously was they took some stuff out of the finale because of Kova. I know there was a whole plot in Falcon and the Soldier that got taken out because of Kova because it hit too close to home when it comes to what was going on with Kova. I know there's been reports going online that Echo is a mess, and I might cut out one episode in the season. You had the issues with Doctor Strange Multitude of Madness, where originally the first Doctor Strange director was going to direct it, and they left because of creative differences. But the big problem I heard with that movie was that it went through. The big thing about that movie is that it went through 33 rewrites. Doctor Strange Multitude of Madness went through 33 rewrites. That is crazy for that many rewrites to happen with a movie. So you've just had all these and Secret Invasion. I mean, there's stuff that's coming out about Secret Invasion and having production problems. You had the fact that they wanted to the way they were shooting these shows was not how you normally shot shows. Like they didn't have showrunners for these shows. They would have the executives come in and just do the story. They would fix everything in post production late, like they do with movies. Hell, Black Widow had its ending rewrote. I think I heard David Harbour saying that Thunderbolts ending is being rewritten because Marvel likes to tinker with stuff. So it's just basically MCU has been a mess right now, and quality has definitely been, like I said, way all over the place. I do think the movies have felt less coherent when it comes to a universe. The Infinity Saga did a much better job, in my opinion, having a clear narrative, where the story was going, and it felt like all the movies were connected, and it felt like event movies. Like you had to see a next one, and I feel like that's kind of gone away with this because of the quality slipping, because of the fact they put out too much stuff. I know when Dave Chapek was in charge before Bob Iger came back, he was all about putting out just as much stuff. And the Kevin Feige couldn't be hands on as with many of the projects as he could. So you can tell it affected the quality. I mean, they did like 16 to 18 projects in 1 year. That's crazy. And it definitely, it's definitely why Kevin Feige, you can understand why Kevin Feige couldn't be involved in every project like he was before, because he had the TV shows, the anime shows. I know when Bob Iger back say they're going to cut down on productions, which I think is a good idea. But here's more stuff that's come out about the movies. So this is stuff about Blade. According to Valley, Kevin Feige is well aware that the MCU isn't firing all cylinders right now. He's pulling a plug on scripts and projects aren't working. In case of Blade, they have to go through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and they shut down just 6 weeks before production. So they tapped a new writer, and this is crazy too. They've been through 5 writers. Like this movie is becoming like the Flash movie before it actually came out, and the Crow movie was been through multiple directors, multiple writers. So they got a new writer to write the scripts. They're starting off from scratch. The the plan now is to make Blade for less than 100, and whatever comes in that sounds better than what was previously in the works. One of the scripts scripted by Feige moved into a narrative led by women, filled with life lessons. Blade was moved up to fourth lead, a bizarre idea. So we get into the Blade stuff here. Here's the good thing about this. I do love the fact that they're starting over with the script, because one of the script ideas that they had there, I'm just like, really, one of the script's ideas was to do a female-led movie where Blade is the fourth lead character in the movie, so it wasn't even going to be about Blade. He was going to be a background character. That reminds me so much of one of the things I really hated about Blade Trinity, where Blade Trinity felt like a Night Stalker movies with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel, where it felt more like it was about trying to set up the Night Stalkers, and Blade basically became a background character in that movie. Now, here's the good stuff I like, though, and this kind of ties into them reshaping the Daredevil show, which is good news, too, and they actually hired a showrunner for that show. So I know they're changing the way they were doing TV shows before, so I think is also good news. The reason that ties into that is that I love the fact that they're saying that they're going to make this movie for 100 or less, because this movie does not need to cost 200. Another thing about movies lately is the budgets for some of these movies have gotten way out of control. You got movies down in the like 200 plus range, 300 range, and I'm like, why? The original Blade trilogy were not expensive movies. They were all rated movies. And look, I don't think the new Blade movies will be all rated. I think it's going to be a hard PG. I think they're going to make it a hard PG-13. But it's ridiculous, some of these budgets for these movies. Like a Blade movie would not need to cost 200 or anywhere near 200 to make a movie. And I love the fact that they're trying to get the budget to 100 or less. But the reason this ties into Daredevil with them, why this is a good sign, is that I love the fact that at least Kevin Feige and Bob Iger are cutting down on projects, that Kevin Feige is getting more involved. Because I think this is good news for the MCU in the future. Him saying that, look, we need to make sure Blade is good. We need to make sure the Daredevil show is good. Because I do think, look, Kevin Feige is a fan. He loves the comics. He's a fan like us. And I think he realizes the fact that the MCU right now is not doing as well box office wise. The quality has definitely dipped. It's not hitting as many, I'll say as many sports analogy, as many home runs as they were in the Infinity Saga, where they were constantly coming out with movies that were consistently, liked, beloved. Yeah, you had your Thor: The Dark World, you had Iron Man 2 in the Infinity Saga, but they were way more consistent quality-wise with the movies. And people were loving the MCU. Like, every movie felt like an event movie, like you need to see what happens next. And like I said, it had a clear narrative. This universe, right now, the Multiverse Saga, has basically felt like a mess, in my opinion. It's basically felt like they've had a bunch of ideas, and they've introduced a bunch of concepts and characters, but the movies don't even feel like they coexist in the same universe anymore. It's felt very loosely connected. And I do think it's felt like they don't have an idea what they're building up to, how all these movies fit together like the Infinity Saga did. But there was some other stuff that came out. The report also details why Marvel Studios has faced issues with VFX and how that impacted the Disney Plus She-Hulk show, She-Hulk and Tony Law show. So that's another show. There you go, another production thing where She-Hulk's. There's stuff. I think there's. I didn't read it, but there was stuff put out about how She-Hulk had some production problems too. And I know, like Miss Marvel, a show that I love. I know since they do these stupid 6 episode short seasons and these short one times. I really hope they change that. They had to cut out a lot of the stuff with the villains in that show. So that was another show that got affected. But yeah, there you go. She-Hulk getting affected too. It seems like all the Disney Plus shows seem to have had issues. Like not all of them, but most of them. And when it comes to theatrical titles, the mall was his face's fair share of struggles. The mall was tracking for his 75 to 80 million. Open and budget said to have ballooned to 250. Again, ridiculous these budgets. The mall was does not need to cost 200 plus to make that movie. And I don't think that movie's gonna honestly. It's not gonna make a. I don't think it's gonna make a billion like the first one. I think it'll make some money, but I like the fact it costs that much. I don't see this movie doing like great, honestly. 4 weeks of reshoots will require to bring coherence to a tagline story. And this is another thing that makes me worried about this movie is that they already said the ball is going to lift like the day before the movie. And the fact they've had to go do 4 rounds of reshoots to make the story make sense makes me very worried about this movie. And this is another weird thing I thought, which Rector said that Way's eyebrows were working on another movie while the malls was still in post production. And that's another thing I don't get. Okay. So the director of this movie, The Marvels, she was working on another movie. To me, this is not good. I'm like, so wait, she was working on another movie while The Marvels was still in post production, and she still didn't finish that movie. Again, it just shows like all these production behind the scene issues with this project lately with MCU. Like it seems like they've like not been able to have a smooth. Like I also think we fans forget how easy it was in the Infinity Saga. How like they made it look so easy with having a shared universe, having everything connected, and having a clear narrative of where it was going, and still making fun, great movies at the same time. I think we as fans forget like how easy the MCU made it look like in the Infinity Saga. And I think this definitely shows with the uptake of projects and Dave Trebek was like, we got to put out more projects. And Kevin Feige not being as involved as he was in the Infinity Saga has definitely shown a dip in quality. But but the good part about all this, going through all this when it comes to Blade, the Marvels, is that I do think with the fact that Kevin Feige is being more hands-on with the Blade project and reshaping the Daredevil project, and I'm cutting, like I said, cutting the projects down with Bob Reiner saying we need to like put out more quality and quantity. I think this is a good sign of the future of MCU because look, I'm not ready to say that the MCU is dead. I think right now the good sign is that they're seeing they need to course correct right now. Because look, Kevin Feige, like I said, is a fan. He listens to fans when it comes to how the movies are hitting for the fans, and I think he knows it's been very messy and all over the place for fans right now when it comes to quiet. And look, there's been some high points in the multiverse saga. I think it still shows there's some life in the MCU, but it's just the consistency isn't there. Like you had Shang-Chi, which I loved. You had Spider-Man No Way Home, which I loved. You had Loki season 1 and 2, which I loved. Hell, I think season 2 of Loki and Guardians 3, another one that I love. I think Guardians 3 and Loki season 2, in my opinion, are the best ends of this phase so far. That still show the quality can still be there. And so like I said, you had some hits there. But there's also been a lot of things have been lukewarm for people. Like I know I wasn't the biggest fan of the new Ant-Man movie or Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, I think the TV shows have suffered. Secret Invasion. I don't think I think the Secret Invasion finale sucked. I think the She-Hulk finale sucked. I think the Moon Knight finale sucked. I think those 2 episodes of Structure just isn't working with these short one times either. And like I said, they're changing the way they're doing the shows, which is good. So I think they're all taking steps to like try to course correct right now and get the MCU back on track. So I'm not ready to give up on the MCU yet, but I do think you know where the mall, if the mall is as bad, they just need to like take that miss. But I do think with Deadpool 3 and beyond, I think they need to make sure Deadpool 3 and the stuff beyond that need to be good. So like I said, I think there's a good sign. Is obviously, you can look at all these reports about all these production issues and all the issues they've had lately in MCU with the Multiverse Saga, but I think there's some good signs there. With them, sound like they know they know the MCU is in a climb right now, and they're trying to fix the stuff to get it back on track. So I think that's the good part of it. So that's all the movie topics today. Until next time, movie fans.